we go. Hey, welcome to the Thriving Series, Inspiration for Thriving in 2023. Today, I am delighted to introduce you to my guest, Kate. Now, I fell in love with the words that Kate uses. Kate is an energetic embodiment masterminder, right?
That's right.
And okay, now I'm forgetting my E words.
An efficiency expert.
Efficiency expert. Yes. How could I forget that? I love efficiency. Tell us more. Like, it's not just, hey, I'm a business coach. Hey, I'm a life coach. Like,
Yeah.
you spent time digging into this. What made sense for you? What words were aligned with what you really do? Yeah, tell us more.
Yeah. I've had a big go at it. So I mean, I've been in business for 5 years, and I actually started off as a retail brick and mortar shop owner. And so coming from I was a government contractor before that. So coming out of not even corporate, but like federal land, and stepping into just being a regular business owner, right? Like a storefront, walk in, hey, we're a small mom and pop little shop. I got my background starting off in this very formal setting, right? And so when I made the decision to transition online, I was like, oh, I'll use all of these skills that I have of structure and patterning, and I'll stick with the very basic, well known, like, I won't have a problem getting clients kind of gigs and titles, right? Like, I started off with my own virtual accounting firm. Um, and that's a very straightforward, like, you do finance. That is your thing. And once I made this decision that I was going to step into coaching, everything in the coaching space, especially in this online world, is so nuanced and it's so delicate, and everybody wants to stand out and they have to do it in this particular way. And as I started focusing on that, I didn't technically start off focusing on like what I was going to call myself. I really wanted to like find purpose and passion, and not just have a thriving business, but feel like I wanted to feel electric, and I wanted to be a part of something that was so much bigger than just a business space. And so when I started doing coaching, I started very much in this marketing and sales lane, right? Like you could see I started to kind of like not be so formal, and it was pretty great. But I didn't want to call myself a coach. I didn't want to be associated with the industry in this kind of way of, bro marketing and taking advantage of people and creating more traumas than helping. And I just didn't want to be a part of that. And so as I was going, my offers started to shift, my mindset started to shift, the way that I was delivering to clients started to shift. And I started to take on more of that internal truth and just bring it forward, right? And I think a lot of us do that on our journeys, where we come to a plateau and we're searching for an answer and we can't seem to find it in the traditional sense that we've been searching. And that happens in the spiritual world too, right? Where sometimes you have to go to a more practical application than an intangible, right? So we see that across the board. And what I wanted to do was just bring that feeling of electricity, right? It's like a refined power almost, because that's what I felt. And I started to play around with these concepts of like grand vision, and I started to do a lot of personal digging for my own purpose, right? And then I started to play with these modalities like human design, and I got deeper into numerology. I've studied astrology for 20 years. So I, played off of those things that I knew. And I was like, I just want to find what that word is that matches that feeling that I have. And it doesn't matter to me if people understand what I'm bringing to them. It doesn't matter to me if people agree with it in the coaching space. I mean, I don't coach. I have a lot of different skills that I bring to people, right? But what I do is fully embody this energy, not just for myself, but for my clients and their brands and what they're looking to bring, right? And so I started to play around with that energetic embodiment coach, consultant, like, what am I really going to say for myself? And when I finally got to an energetic embodiment masterminder, it really came from this essence of like, my greatest goal is I just want to sit and talk to people and love on them and it help expand on this soul level, right? And it doesn't matter if that's pertaining to business or if that's pertaining to your life or the way that you raise your kids or like your morning routine. Because what I'd found in working with my clients through accounting, through our retail store, through any of the one-on-one coaching that I did or the group offers that I did, everyone brought life and business. Everyone brought this deep interpersonal connection because there were no boundaries. It wasn't just my funnel or my content or did I sign an extra 3 clients this month. It was just, this is my life and this is my passion and this is what I want and how do I do it? Because when I do well here, this other part starts to kind of crumble and get a little wonky and I want to have balance or harmony across the board here as best as I can, right? So this concept of coming into yourself and into this core essence of just your truth became everything.
I just think that is so refreshing. And in our conversation before we started the recording, you were talking about how you can be you across the board. So whether it's you in business, you with your family, you with your spouse, you with your parents, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The consistency is that you are the same you. That Dr. Seuss quote about there's no one youer than you.
Yeah.
And everything you do.
Yeah. And what's even more important, I try to impart a lot to my clients and in the same way that I do to my kids and my partner and just a casual conversation with a stranger. Like we have this essence and it is beautiful and pure and dedicated and motivated and it is designed for viewing, right? Whether that's for us viewing or for the world to view us or for us to expand out and touch in a different way that was not been created, right? And so this concept of recalibrating to you because you are whole and unique and comprised of magic in and of yourself is the concept that, this, like what I share with my kids and what I share with my clients is you live with you and you die with you. You're the first one to realize your own consciousness and the last one to whisper the last sweet goodbye as you pass off, right? And if we're going to be searching for this ultimate pleasure, this ultimate bliss, we want to live happy, wealthy, healthy, glowing, abundant lives, then living in that essence of who you are is the only way to go. Right? Like, doesn't that just make sense? And so I think about that in terms of growth and I think about it in terms of business and I see it in the smiles of my kids' faces and I see it in the downtrodden moments that everyone experiences. None of us are impervious to poverty, loss, grief, pain, struggle, heartache, right? None of us. And yet all of us have this really unique experience to be able to, I mean, if we wanted to even document our journeys of growth and expansion and just listening to who we are to have all of these things that we desire. And, you know, one of the things that's part of my human design, I always find it so interesting, especially for people who don't understand human design or haven't heard of it. One of the core elements that's in my particular chart, that's my particular viewing, is this concept of being a storyteller. And it actually, my chart takes it a step further, and it says, hey, you're a casual historian, essentially. You know, you're sitting here and you're documenting experience, and you're documenting the growth of a journey. And I say, well, it's no wonder I have so many kids. You know, and we do these things like we write wisdom books and we share the gifts that we have. That's one of the things that I do with my kids is I write these wisdom books for them to have moments and pieces that maybe they wouldn't have gotten in any other experience. Maybe we didn't have that experience together while they were growing up, and it's like super important that they know it. I have a left-handed boy. Like, it's super important he knows that lefty loosey is not righty-tighty. Like, you know, those are important things. And I think when we can look at this essence of who we are, and we can look at where it's guiding us and where it's taking us and all of these different modes of impact that we have. You know, as business owners, especially, it's important for us to look at not just our growth, but all of the blessings that we have, right? Like sometimes we don't have a $1 million benchmark and we don't have 500 clients that we've worked with. But as long as we're impacting, you know, as long as we're doing this thing and we say, hey, we need to have a way to measure that. Well, having this internal truth is our way of measuring our purpose and our passion and the direction that we're going in this life. And if we're looking to have everything that we're trying to achieve, don't you want the calibration for it? Like, don't you want that road marker that says, this is where I am and this is the way that I feel about it? And I can accept that you, Aimee, are you and I am me, and you do really beautiful things, and it's not what I do. You know, and it starts to expand our world, and we get to have that electric feeling of just, I call it coming home. Like, it's coming home to self, and it's this really beautiful place of comfort. And isn't that like, that's what we want? We all want this security and we want to feel good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that describes thriving, I think, at that soul level too. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what does it feel like for you in the new year?
Thriving for me, gosh, it's such a good question because it's so many different things. I mean, for me, thriving is, for 2023, it's connection and it's collaboration, and it is a further resonance into just being more whole, being more present, being more aware, being more alive in everything that we do, right? Not just in one particular area, because for me there are no boundaries. What affects me in my business is also affecting me financially, which means it affects my household, it affects my attitude and my relationships with other people, especially in a stress response, right? So thriving for me is getting a pinch more harmony, a pinch more balance, a pinch more love and reciprocity, and a little more giving, just being a little more whole.
I had this visual of a circle, and
Yeah.
you know, a circle's already whole, and then as you were describing, a pinch more and a pinch more, you know, the circle just expanding.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the circle isn't like you said, it's not just one area of life, like, oh, I want this area of life to
Mhm.
get better. It's like it's also intertwined, and it's all part of the circle. So if one part changes,
Yeah, it like morphs and takes on a new being all of its own. It's
yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Well, I just love this conversation. I love So the word mastermind really just in this time
Mm-hmm.
together, I see you as you and the word mastermind like go very well together.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that and then witnessing how your thoughts, again, it's a circle of like
Yeah.
within the conversation and how it all ties together. Like there's something about you that it's all about tying it all together.
I love that. I don't think I've ever had someone explain me back to me in a way where I was like, oh, I never thought of that. Never thought of that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Just witnessing that. And as you are tying it all together, I know you are in the middle of preparing dinner, which I am so appreciative that you let us in your world as you were preparing dinner and being interviewed at the same time.
It's
By
my
your cute little
efficiency
dog.
skill.
That's right. That's right. You are efficiency is
Yeah.
one of your gifts.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Was there anything you'd like to close with that we didn't hit on, Kate?
You know, I don't think so. I share a lot about a lot of different topics on social media and different ways that people can work with me if they're interested. And I truly believe that the people, sorry, the people, the
That's
people
a little
who,
effect, right?
yeah,
Steam effect.
um, the people who know the work that we do and who are meant to work with us always find us. And so, I mean, anyone who wants to follow me online, catch lives, partake and just be a part of my world can find me on Facebook. They'll find things from videos to blogs to mini events. They'll find my membership group. They will find just all kinds of ways to be, and everyone will be able to come in and they're able to find these pieces that are for them, where they get to get in touch with themselves a little bit more and they get to recalibrate to truth a little bit more. So I'll be excited to see who is pulled and wants to take on the world with themselves in a way that really really just sings them and their essence.
Yes. Ah, I love those words. Mhm. Okay, that resonates. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing your time and your soul.
Yeah,
Feel like
absolutely.
I
Thank
feel
you
like
so
we
much.
get Kate just like full on.
Awesome. Thank
Yes.
you. I'm so appreciative of you for not just creating this event, but for thinking of me and having me on and allowing me to just share myself with you.
It's beautiful. And cheers to thriving, my friend.
Absolutely.